My good friend, Senator Jim Inhofe, is on the phone with me. Senator, it's been a few weeks since we talked, and it's always great to have you on, and I plan to come to see you here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I understand that you might have a hard time making that trip. Hope it works.
I'm hoping it works out as well, but if not, we'll get it rescheduled. But I wanted to talk to you because there's some stuff going on. You and I were talking off the air about the South China Sea.
Yeah,
So
it's a different threat than people have talked about. We all know what happened about Kim Jong-un and the fact that on November 28th he fired a rocket that has the range that could hit Oklahoma City. But and everyone knows that. But what they didn't know and what we didn't know is what China is actually doing right now. Todd, this is something that's it's really mind-boggling. They have, without any authority, without any ownership, they call it reclaimed land, but it's not reclaimed. They have created land out of ocean, right where we need to have the capacity to ship our goods in the South China Sea. They right now they've gone under and they've dredged and they've built islands. They now are up to 3,200 acres that they've just created, and it's all filled with armaments. They have long runways on them. They have the bombs. They have rockets, and it's one where they've totally intimidated the people that we've considered to be and they still are, our allies, like the Philippines, the Taiwan, Seoul, South Korea, Japan. These countries have always been very close to us. However, they're now looking at us and looking at China, and it's not just saber rattling. They're actually building things out there in that area where they can close down channels, they can close down traffic, they can intimidate and consequently, even in the Philippines, while they love us, they're still appeasing China. So this is a new threat that's out there that's pretty scary.
So I've never thought of China as being our friend anyway.
I agree.
I've never ever trusted them. I've always known that they would put the screws to us if given the opportunity, because they're all about themselves first. But how does it benefit China to be in a situation with the United States where we need each other financially? How does that work?
That's a great question. Right now, though, they are in a position where if they can have control of all the surrounding environment where they're working. Now, it's not just South China Seas. I have not talked to you about this, but we could talk endlessly about what they're doing in Africa right now. They are just building. They are showing the world that they're the fastest growing. It's taking on United States in the sense that we lost during the Obama administration our image as the leader of the free world. And that's what they are doing right now. And the best way I can answer you is power. And that's why we were so surprised to see specifically what they are doing. Now, when you stop and think that they have created 3,200 acres out of nothing that they can use for military purposes, it's no wonder they have everyone in both the South China Seas and the East China Seas intimidated. Japan, they have not, since World War II, they haven't built any kind of forces. They have kind of depended upon us, and right now they're very much concerned because China is right at their door. And this is a new threat that we didn't have before. Now, on the good side, we all understand that Trump says things sometimes and tweets things that he ought to maybe temper a little bit, but he seems to. But it seems like he gets by with it. I think we talked about before the last time we talked about how he stood up to Kim Jong-un after Un said that he was going to. He said, "I'm going to press a button and we'll blow you out of the water." Right. And now he was expecting the kind of response he would have had out of Obama, but he didn't get that. Trump came around and said, "Yeah, you do that. We have a bigger button than yours. Ours works. Yours doesn't. And we'll blow you out of the." Well, immediately right after that, we're talking about a couple hours after that, North Korea contacted South Korea and said, "We'll come down and work with you in the Winter Olympics." And then, as of just a couple of hours ago, They have now said that they are going to be negotiating with us. They've committed not to have any more of the missile tests that were illegal. But so it's working. I guess that's the best way to say it. Is belligerent as this our president can be, he's saying things that are sticking, and I'll tell you, I'm proud of him. I mean, this whole thing on the tax reform that he did, Todd, that is huge. That was something that everyone said could not be done, and he got it done. And what's happened as a result of it? We've increased our economy by about 2%. And for every 1% increase in the economy, that equates to about $3 trillion of new revenue coming in. This is something that wasn't even a Republican idea originally. This was John Kennedy back in 1962. He said we need more money for the Great Society programs. The best way to increase revenue is to reduce marginal tax rates. Well, that's what this president's doing, and the rewards are coming in. And I think if there's any question about this, tell them what my website is. Remind our listeners, it's inhofe.senate.gov. And call up. We have on there, you can pull up the number of corporations in Oklahoma that are giving bonuses to their employees, and the really good things that are happening to our economy as a result of the tax reform.
Senator, what is the mood like at the White House? I know you've been to some meetings there. I know you've met with the president, the vice president. And the media paints such a bleak picture, like everything in the White House is on fire, the place is about to burn down, and the world's about to come to an end, and we know that not to be true.
Well, Todd, that's why I like you. You come right out and say it. The media hates Donald Trump. They hate him. They think it's a bad dream. They think if they just keep saying things that and discrediting him. But the one thing that he did, and this that I didn't know at the time what his motive was, but he has learned how to go around the media, the very unfriendly media, and go straight to the people. And that's exactly what he's done with his tweets, and it's driving them crazy. They don't know how to react. So all the things that you hear, just keep in mind, that's coming from sources who hate Trump with a passion. And it's a joy for me to go around the White House now, talking about things, what we're going to do with infrastructure, how we're going to rebuild it, how we're going to pay for it. But they're now doing what government should be doing. And the most important thing that Trump is doing right now is he's rebuilding the military that was torn down during the Obama years. People think that's a strong statement to say, but it's true. We got to the point where our ground activity was only about 30% of it could be deployed. Our maintenance dropped completely. Everything that was being spent on the environmental programs of Obama, now we're pulling America out of this thing.
Well, President Trump doesn't play footsie with the media, and he doesn't play footsie with the Democrats either. And he doesn't play footsie with Hollywood. You saw where the Oscars were at the lowest rating ever recorded.
I didn't hear that, but I'm glad to hear it.
The lowest ever recorded, Senator.
Wow.
And that's because people don't want to hear this left-wing garbage, because it does not fall in lockstep with mainstream America.
I think it's a wake-up call. I think people do realize that now. I mean, you remember Al Gore was everything. The clocks all stopped when he talked. Everyone wanted Al Gore and all the things he was doing. Now, of course, you've seen what's happened out in Hollywood. The liberals, the extremists out there, they don't like anything that's happening in this country, but it's happening anyway. And slowly, the polls are coming up, and people are realizing that the best thing that could have happened to America during that election was Donald Trump's victory.
Well, Donald Trump's got a friend here, I can tell you that. And you know what? Sometimes I'm like you. I cringe at a tweet, but I know the man knows what he's doing. And I tell people that. They say, I can't believe he did that. And I'll say, yeah, but he knows what he's doing.
There's no better evidence of that than North Korea. You are exactly right. So anyway, it's a joy to be doing things that we're supposed to be doing up here, and we're reaping the benefits of his efforts, along with Congress that went along with him on all the tax reforms and on rebuilding the military. So there is good news out there in spite of what you hear on MSNBC, okay?
Great. And Senator, you and I have talked about going flying before, so let's make that happen.
I'll be doing that on Saturday. Good. I'll look for you.
Look, I look forward to talking to you, Senator Jim Inhofe. Thanks for calling in, and keep up the great work and keep us informed. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Todd.
God bless you. You too. Senator Jim Inhofe on the Todd Tucker Show.